right, so we're gonna do the walk around in the Urban GS, the 2022. I'm gonna show off some of the bolt-on mods that I've done and some of the things I've removed, and we'll jump right into it. Okay, so starting up at the front here, originally it had these like Mickey Mouse mirrors that stuck up from this control box that sits on the handlebar. They screw into this spot here, which is very common on a lot of bikes. These mirrors vibrated like crazy, and also I hated the look of them, so what I did was I removed them. I got these CRG Hindsight mirrors and then plugged this hole, and this is actually from like an auto part store. It's for plugging holes in sheet metal for when you're running wires and stuff, and when you're doing car modifications. So this is just a piece of vinyl. I've actually also ordered an aluminum, a nicer one that threads into this hole, but that hasn't arrived yet. And I think these look pretty clean. Normally you can get them without this hole in the middle of them, but that's all that they had available at the time. The CRG Hindsight mirrors came from Wunderlich. I think you've already seen these in a previous video, potentially. They're super awesome. They are pretty convex, so they have a pretty wide angle of view, wider than the standard mirrors, so you get to see a whole lot more. Maybe you could even get away with having just one of them, but I'm okay with having two. I like the look, and then if you want to like fold them in, they fold in, and you can return them to the standard spot. The one thing that's kind of confusing is that when you fold them in, this screw here touches the anodized aluminum here, so I imagine that you'd eventually chip that up, but if you don't care about that, then you don't care about that. This bar end adapter is from Wunderlich as well. These bar end pieces I had to order separately, and I didn't order them at the time that I ordered these, and it looked kind of dumb. These are kind of like, I think they're like $90 US, like a lot of money for a piece of aluminum. I kind of expected them to be heavier because they're advertised as bar end weights. So like the screw, like this new screw, the silver one that threads in, it's like longer than the standard one that comes with these if you wanted to replace the plastic ones that come with the bike. This weighs more than the end cap. So I kind of expected this to be like stainless steel or something, or tungsten, but for the price that they charge. But I guess it completes the look. I kind of want to get a narrower bushing here to fill that gap with, but that's the bushing that it came with. I think it's designed to fit more than just these bar ends, so it's like a yeah, it fits a variety of bar ends, but these ones in specifically are the ones that they sell. Quad lock, I'm a big fan of quad lock. This is the vibration damper and wireless charger. And actually BMW, on this bike at least, has stopped shipping these bikes with that dumb DIN port as standard, and they include a full-size USB-A, which is nice. So I've zip tied run the cables up, and I'm able to charge my phone now while riding, which is nice. And we'll move on to the back of the bike. I don't know if you guys remember what the back of the bike looks like, or if you've seen what the back of the bike looks like stock, but there's this big protruding piece of plastic that sticks out to, I don't know, about as far as this fender does, and then it's got this big bulbous license plate bracket with reflectors and stuff on it, and it just doesn't look good. Wunderlich makes something called an Enduro tail. This one is actually from a company called Unit Garage in Italy, and it's really well made. It feels very similar to the front fender in terms of like the type of plastic and the rigidity of it. And then they sell this like tail tidy kit, which bolts to the underside of it, and you have a couple of options with this tail tidy kit. You can use the standard brake light, the stock brake light, which this is not. This is the new one. Or you can use this smaller brake light. Now, this brake light is not as bright as the stock one. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm struggling with replacement tail lights because they're just not as bright. So, but you can get this whole kit here, this whole piece. the black metal piece with an adapter so that you can run the stock taillight if you want to. These are the stock turn signals, which I like, and they just screw into the side of this bracket, and they use the stock wiring harness. So everything for this is plug and play for this kit here, and the fender just bolts on super cleanly as well. So these are two separate parts, as well as this here. So this is the luggage rack / passenger handlebars. I think it looks cool. You don't need this. You can run it with just this or just this. You've got a bunch of options, but I like this because I'm gonna probably put like a tail bag or something on it. But yeah, all this stuff bolted on super easily. Oh, I also forgot these guys, the engine guards. When I bought this bike, I wanted to buy the stock BMW, just the low profile engine guard head cover. They make it in plastic and in aluminum, as well as like the 719 and I believe carbon fiber you can get it in. But this new design for the Euro 5, I believe for Euro 5 they redesigned the heads of this bike, so none of those pieces fit on it anymore. Just the engine guards fit. So the Wunderlich engine guards fit nicely. They were a little bit trickier to install. You need 2 people to do it because this bolt, one of these bolts, yeah, long story short, you need 2 people to do this for just 1 or 2 of the steps. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward. Everything from Wunderlich comes from the factory with like a little tube of Loctite, and the instructions are very clear. What I did find about Unit Garage is that the instructions were not as clear. They kind of had a variety of ways to mount these things depending on what other parts you get with it, and the instructions are not great. Just keep that in mind. But Wunderlich, their instructions were better, their packaging was better. So yeah, I think I would probably first check if Wunderlich sells something that you want for this bike, and then I would check Unit Garage. Unit Garage has all the options for suspension. Like you can replace forks, you can replace the rear suspension, like they sell all those parts for this bike, whereas Wunderlich doesn't. So if you're interested in upgrading the suspension on this bike, which I'm gonna do, you won't be able to get it from Wunderlich. So and I will talk about what's coming next. This fork here, I thought about replacing it with a fully adjustable Öhlins one, but that's very expensive, like 3,500 bucks, I think. So Öhlins actually makes a cartridge insert for this where I can get it sprung for my weight properly, and it will be fully adjustable. So that's about $790 US from Unit Garage, and it's fairly easily obtainable at a variety of other dealers, and I think it's on sale right now. The rear suspension is basically at its maximum preload for my weight, so that needs to be addressed as well, because I like to ride 2-up on this bike. So I'm going to probably replace the rear shock, but the front shock is probably the first thing that needs to be updated. And then disappointingly, the dealer that I got this bike from, because it was in stock when I bought it, the wheels, the dealer didn't spec it with the gold spoke wheels, and I love the look of those wheels. So I'm going to try to find a way of putting gold lace wheels on this bike. If it comes down to it, I might just end up biting the bullet and buying the OEM ones, which are $4,000, because you know BMW does that for some reason, a $600 option on the bike, and then they sell the parts individually for like $4,000. Seems a little crazy to me, but yeah, I'm gonna figure out the wheels. But yeah, and also like this tends to get chipped up a little bit. I'm considering just wrapping the exhaust. But yeah, this is sort of like step 1. I think the bike aesthetically is getting to where I want it to be, and these parts from these companies, they make amazing bolt-on parts, and they were super easy to install. This required, I mean, none of these required any sort of modification, but this one required, like, you know, turning the manual upside down a few times, and a little bit of finagling to figure out like which set of bolts to use to install it, because it comes with like 3 or 4 sets of bolts for different things depending on what else you've bought. So yeah, that part's a little bit tricky, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. There's no vibration, no extra vibration. This is on here really sturdy. This is on here really sturdy. Yeah, I'm really happy with it, and I think the look is much better than stock with that enduro tail, especially on the Urban GS. So yeah, I highly recommend either of them, Unit Garage or Wunderlich. Shipping is really quick. They both ship with like FedEx 2-day to even international. It took no time for the parts to get here. So yeah, highly recommended. I'm having a lot of fun with this bike, and I'm excited to share more updates in the future, and probably some more riding content, and those wheels. Yeah, I'm gonna get a new set of wheels for it. But yeah, awesome. Thanks for watching. We'll oh, one more thing. This piece here didn't come with the license plate adapter to mount the US license plate or Euro license plate or whatever adapter you would order. I just forgot to order that piece. But actually this 3M quad lock, like the ultra strength stuff, is holding really well. Like I can drive at highway speeds and the license plate doesn't come off. So and I guess if you like to break the law, it's really easily removable. So and I believe there's probably questionable legality about mounting it with Velcro, but yeah, so buy the appropriate license plate bracket when you buy this part, or call them or email them and figure out what part you need to order with it. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I like that this is a small profile. My license plate covers it nicely, so there's nothing more extraneous that's here than is actually needed. So yeah, great. Thanks for watching. We'll be producing more content on this bike and other bikes. I've got a KTM 500 Supermoto coming into my riding circle soon. I've got a Rocket 3 that I'll be able to produce content on. So lots of bikes. Hopefully we can get some videos in before the end of summer, before winter starts, and maybe we can do some like garage stuff in the winter about storage and stuff like that. So thanks for watching.